Does Andrew Tate still play chess? Yes, people, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be looking at a recent game by no one else than Andrew Tate. So it's going to be an interesting one. We've also got a great puzzle at the very end of the video, which happened during the game, which you can try and solve and see if you can find the knockout blow, which, if you can find it, it's going to demonstrate good chess ability. I've also got a chess coaching and plus course offer, which is a 100 ELO guarantee. And if you don't gain 100 ELOs within the first 2 months, you can just get a full refund, and the prices go up double in the next 3 days. So we're going to get into the game. We've got a very interesting game today, and I have kind of been making more of like Road to 2100 videos and all that, and we're gonna continue those. So make sure if you haven't seen those, we've got a lot of good series going on. But I'm going to make this video now. Sorry if I am sweating as well, because we are in Thailand and it is flipping hot here. And I don't have the air conditioning on because the sound would just get terrible. So, let's look how the game went. Andrew Tate's got the black pieces, his opponent's got the white pieces. 1649 for his opponent, 610 for Mr. Tate himself. And his opponent opens up with the move e3. We see the move d5. We see d3 and the move e5, and this is actually known as the cow. Not even the cow variation, not even the cow defense. This is just known as the cow, which is actually one of my favorite animals as well, in terms of eating, not in terms of actually liking the animal. So we got bishop d2. We've got the move f5, so Andrew Tate just making lots of pawn moves. We've got the move queen h5 check. The queen slides out and delivers a check. However, this check is rather harmless because Tate can just block it with the move g6. And also, if you're following along during this game and you haven't played too much chess, or you're quite new to chess, I'm going to go over the moves in a way which, even if you don't really understand too much about chess, you will still be able to understand the moves. So this move g6, just attacking the queen has to go back, so queen e2. However, I think a much better of a move would have been maybe queen d1, because that way, when the queen comes to e2, which you see in the game, it actually blocks in this bishop, which means maybe this bishop has to go this way, and it's going to take longer. And it's just a bit unnecessary to go queen e2. Queen d1 would have been better to let the bishop out. So here we see the move knight f6. Tate just developing normally. We see the move knight c3. And now we see the move bishop e6. So just very standard development here. Always good to get bishops out. Get the knights out as well. We see castles queenside, which, for those of you who don't know about castling is when you move your king over 2 squares and you move this rook over 3 squares. On the queen side, on the king side, it is 2 and 2. So the king would go 1, 1, 2. Rook comes here. So castling, which I'm sure most of you would understand. But for those of you who don't, that's what castling is. We see the move knight c6 now. This knight getting into the game. Maybe a slightly more advanced thing would be maybe bringing this pawn out to c5 and then going knight c6. Although in this position it's not such a important thing, just due to the fact that the king is castled queenside, and this development's already really bad, so there's no really need. And also, you would also have 4 pawns here. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4. And that could maybe be a bit vulnerable, as it could be undermined. If you've got too many pawns in a straight line up the board, it can be undermined. So we see the move king b1. His opponent gets his king to safety. We see queen d7. And after queen d7, we see the move h4. And I'd actually like you to try pause the video now and try and find a central pawn push that makes Tate's position a lot better. So I'm going to let you try find it. If you did, congratulations, because the move is d4. And after d4, ed4 would have been played. There would be takes. And if you go, there's no way for this knight no squares for this knight to go to. It can't come to d5 because it gets taken. It can't come to b5 because a6. And, oh, sorry, I've messed something up here. Oh, after castles, this knight is pretty screwed. Because the problem is, if you go a6 now, there is a, knight c7 tactic, actually. And after takes, there would be this. So going back a tiny bit, you can't go a6, but you go castles queenside. And now this knight is pretty much trapped. And if it ever goes back to a3, you can always just take here and open up the king's file, which would give you a very good position. So going back a bit, we see after this move, d4 would have been a very strong position. Knight has got nowhere to go, so rook e1 would actually be the top move. And it's a kind of a complex line, but black does better in the end. After rook e6, king d7, that's under attack, this is under attack, and this pawn has threats of promoting. Black's winning here. So going back a bit, after move h4, d4 is the best move, but Tate actually misses that and castles queenside. He gets his king to safety, which king safety is the #1 principle in chess. After that, we see knight h3. We see the move h6, and now we see the move rook c1. So his opponent just putting his rook on this file, which is maybe a tiny bit unnecessary, just because this pawn is so far off coming here. So we see king b8. It's always a common idea in chess, especially when you castle queenside, to move your king one square, because here it doesn't actually defend this pawn. So maybe in a really bad case scenario, this pawn might be undefended if this knight moves. So king b8 always makes sense to try and defend this pawn. We see the move knight b5 now, and this move doesn't really have a threat, and Tate would like to develop his last remaining piece, which is his bishop. He may not want to go bishop c5, and may not want to go bishop b4, so this would be quite a good square. But now this knight is here, it stops that. So Tate kicks this knight away, it comes back, and now we see the move bishop d6. Here we see the move knight a4, his opponent just kind of playing mindless moves, and now Tate actually strikes in the center and plays one of the top moves and goes d4, which is the theme we was on about earlier. Now we see c4, we see dc3, knight c3, and now the move knight b4. So this knight's come in here, there's maybe some threats. If this knight ever moves away, then that would actually be a serious problem. So going back a bit, after the move knight b4, it's also after a move like a3, which was actually played in the game, you see it opens up, and we got something called Swiss cheese, which is what happens when all these squares around just all these squares on the board, they become infiltrated with holes. So you call it Swiss cheese because cheese has got lots of holes. Swiss cheese does. So we see knight bd5, take, and now we see the move e4. After the move e4, Tate plays one of the top moves and goes knight b6. He slides his knight back. As his pawn is attacked and his knight is attacked, you could take here, but it might open the board up a tiny bit more, maybe give your opponent some more stuff to do. So he just slides it back and says, if you're going to take this, well, I'm just going to take this, and guess what? Your pawn and my bishop all along the same line as your king. This is not good in chess at all. So that doesn't happen. So after the move knight b6, instead of seeing this, we actually see the move bishop c3. Now we see the move f4. Tate closes, makes an advance here. A better move would have actually been queen a4, preparing to go queen b3. For example, a move like this. This would be a very strong idea. You also have the idea of like knight a4, and this is going to be very deadly. And also you've got the threat of bishop a3. So anyway, after the move bishop c3, instead of saying queen a4, which would come with some threats, we see a different move, and we see the move f4. We see queen c2, bishop f7, just Tate bringing this bishop back. In chess, when the bishop and the queen align on the same diagonal, it's actually known as a battery, maybe referring kind of to a battering ram. And we're going to see that in the game. So we see queen e6, b4 now. Now b4 is actually a very weakening move. You should never move your pawns by your king, and the reason for that is your pawns, when they're on their original 3 squares, they give quite good defense to the king, but the more you move it, the more weaknesses open up. So now we see that every single pawn here has been moved, and lots of weaknesses are lining up. For example, if this pawn was here, if this pawn was here, and say this pawn was there, then this wouldn't actually be a threat. So you can see just the holes that these pawn moves make. Now, Tate actually hops in with the move knight a4. We see bishop d2, rook c8. It is worth mentioning that this knight cannot be taken due to the threat of checkmate. So we see rook c8, f3, and just to go back, actually we're going to keep going. We see the move c5, and here I've got the puzzle for you. So here you can try to pause the video and find the top move. So I'm sure you have found it, but the move is obviously to take, and after this the game is completely over. His opponent took back in the game. There is this, and after queen b3, his opponent's down. His opponent is down a queen, and there's way too much going on here. For example, move like this. You've got rook c8 here, and even after this is taken, there's no way for this king to escape the checkmate with these bishops. Also, have a look at the 1500 ELO accelerator, as I've worked with professional boxers, professional athletes, and lots of other people as well, but people who are normally very driven, and their chess ratings have all increased drastically. So if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, I think you might enjoy this one. Have a good day.